That's right. It's the Tmi Show, everyone.
Hooray!
I shortened the intro.
Yep. Apparently you did.
Yep. It's only about a minute long. Added a flippy coin at the end, flippy icon at the end.
Fancy. Hello.
Hello.
We're back.
Hello.
Yes, we're back.
Yep, we're back, and there's nothing you can do about it.
No.
Insert evil laughter.
With us today we have Slim.
Hello.
And Microraptor.
Yeah.
Hello.
Microraptor.
And Eddie.
Hello.
Yay.
Yeah. And we are continuing the saga of the Rainbow Squad.
Yay.
Second edition.
And let me just whoops. There we go. We got questions. Thanks to Eddie and Micro.
Yeah, I put together this visual here. If I could stop it from running for a minute.
Thank you.
Yeah, this is the first question that was on the list.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Who wanna answer
That's
first?
Yes. And now
Oh.
for 100 points. What is your definition of biological sex?
Woo!
How many points?
100.
100.
Who's gonna go for it?
Who's gonna?
I don't know if it's probably not only chromosomes. It's probably a little more complicated than that, but it's sort of, when it comes to sex, it's often the biological part and not what you identify as. Like you can have a sex and not be, like if you're XY, you can have that without knowing that you have XY. Most people assume that if the men, they have XY, and if the women, they have XX, but that's not necessarily true.
No.
I don't mean man and woman, I meant the male and female.
Mm-hmm.
I have a couple of friends who identify as male and are, guys who have an extra so-called female chromosome. And that's just how they are.
Yeah.
So to me, biological sex would just be the genetics you were born with.
I actually downloaded a pretty good gingerbread man. It's called Genderbread Man.
Yay!
Should we have a look at him or her?
Oh, yes.
Okay.
Most definitely.
Ta-ta!
Yay!
Nice.
It's a bit small. I can't make it bigger, I don't think. So.
It's a really good diagram.
Yes, it
Yeah.
is. I thought so myself when I saw it. I was like, yeah.
Mhm.
So that's
Oh.
everything on it.
Mm. Well, I think-
Identity is in the brain.
Mhm.
Right. I think identity and attraction should be linked in some way, but that's just me.
No, not really. No.
It's the way I
Why
think
would you
of it.
think that?
Well, maybe because they're actually both in the brain.
Because I don't think with my heart, and I don't get attraction from my heart.
Well, you don't think of attraction either. That's a biological response.
So they should have a dotted line from identity to attraction.
No.
No, okay. So you get your attraction from your organ. That's your heart. Is that what your
Yep.
attraction comes from,
Well, I feel
No,
it
if
there.
you
or is that
If
just a
you-
euphemism for brain? Is the heart a euphemism for brain?
I mean, I don't think the diagram is saying that you literally feel it from your heart.
Right. Well, that's
But,
what I'm saying. That's what I'm saying. Yeah.
I mean, the attraction is how you react to seeing a person, or like it's if you're sexually attracted to someone, you don't like. It's not a thinking thing. Identity is more of a thinking. Like
Well, they're using a representation of a heart on the bottom of the chart. They're using it twice for sexual attracted to, and they're using a heart, which represents what?
I think you're really overthinking the heart thing.
Yeah, but that's what I'm saying. It's kind of ambiguous in a way, but that's okay. I mean, the chart is meant to show that there is a connection between the mind and the body. I think. I mean, I don't know.
This is expressing the definition of biological sex,
Yeah.
Mm,
right?
I
Eddie?
believe so, yeah.
Yeah. That's what
don't
it
know where
said
you're
on
pointing.
the link you sent to me.
Yeah,
I was
sent
just
you
like,
It's a good chart.
isn't that the same as gender? No, it's
no.
apparently not.
So I believe that sex would be like what you're assigned with at birth, but that does not always align with gender.
No, sex is the biology, the your genes and stuff like that. Why gender is your identity.
Well, he's a nice little fella.
Yeah.
I think it helps with the identity and expression part more than the attraction and sex part.
Yeah.
Because, yeah. I feel just because I'm happy with the parts I have sometimes biologically as a female does not mean that I like to express to be that all the time. And that also means that with how I feel about myself in my brain, about how I understand who I am, that doesn't always align with always presenting as female neither.
Yeah.
So I'm a little jumbled up there. I'm a bit confused.
I think everyone is probably a little confused.
That's okay. We'll get there in the end.
Yeah.
So, do you guys think we answered this question or what?
We figured it out.
Because we can go on to the next
We can ask
question.
the chat. Did we answer this question?
Well,
Yeah.
the first thing I thought of with biological sex is I thought we were talking about skin against skin, because you can have fake genitalia that you can use in sex. So I was thinking about people that had modified bodies that they had to use during sex, but it actually was of individuals' bodies. So never mind.
Huh?
Some people have a fake cock. They were born with a lack of one, or it got taken off. So for when I thought of biological sex, I was thinking of people that had their natural organs without any augmentations, or just actual normal regular sex.
Are we back to you missing yours?
Yes. Mine's I have
Okay.
I have a detachable penis. I lose it sometimes. Oh, never mind.
Then it has to glow in the dark or something, so you can find it
Right.
again.
I have a finder in it, so I press the button and it beeps and glows, and so
Beep,
I
beep,
don't
beep,
lose
beep,
it
beep,
anymore.
GPS.
Yeah, exactly. I got a phone app for it,
Find my
A phone app.
Global.
my
Is it a global app?
Can I
Yeah.
get that on Android, or is it just like iPhone only?
No,
That's
it's
what I'm-
Android. It's only
Okay.
Android,
Okay.
and I can share the app with you, and you can find out where it is at all times as well.
Oh,
Intriguing.
practical.
Well, we could go on to the next question, which is
Yeah,
this.
Mark Caesar says your answer was a good start.
Yeah, that was a good start. You're right, Mark Caesar.
Yeah, I think we could have done better, but yeah.
Yeah.
All right, what is your definition of sexuality? That's
Who are you attracted to?
what's my definition? It didn't ask me it asked me what your definition was.
Yeah.
Semantics. Yeah, well, I don't know. I haven't really thought about it. A lot of people go, I'm in my 50s. I've never thought about these questions, really. Does that seem odd to anyone?
I mean, I think about trying to answer them all the time, and each day I kind of come up with different things. Hence why I'm confused. But I mean, if you're comfortable with exactly how you are, then I mean, I kind of understand you not thinking about them, because it's not your daily life, right?
Yeah, some of us kind of live these questions.
Yeah. Which then makes me confused.
Well, I think like the sexuality is how you feel about yourself when you're with another person, and and
Who you're able to be sexually and romantically attracted to, basically.
Yeah, that's the definition of sexuality.
yeah, like if you are attracted to someone and you want to show affection and you want to show you care, sexuality is a part of that, I guess, right? I mean,
I feel affection towards all of you, but not necessarily sexual.
yeah, I guess it doesn't have to be sexual, yeah.
Yeah.
But that's part of it. You want to share that with someone you love, right? Because
Yeah.
it's it's like it's a great thing. I mean,
Yeah.
right? To share for
Yeah.
two people to share with between each other is really
Yep.
spectacular.
One
So I don't know.
No, to me, it just kind of means like your sexual feelings, thoughts, attractions, and behavior towards people. But obviously, it can be physically or emotionally attraction, because not everybody has sexual desires like that.
Yeah.
Yeah, because there's people that are asexual and I'm not entirely sure what the whole thing entails, but I know it's just a lack of, just because of the A aspect of it, is just like atheist, you know, asexual, just without that feeling, kind of, in a way. I guess that's what that means. So
I believe so.
Yeah.
I'm not of that well, how would you describe it? You would say it would be sexual identity, would it not? Michael, how would you describe it, do you think? But because I'm not sort of part of that, I don't personally understand it. But, you know, it doesn't mean that it's not bad. Sorry, it doesn't mean that it is bad. There we go. Words jumbled up.
yeah, I think everyone got what you were saying. I understood.
Good, thank you.
It's more of, it's more of the emotional connection, or emotional, I guess, ideal, because when I'm thinking of sexuality, it's what I do to make myself feel attractive when I go on stage. And usually it's using sexuality, like wearing my frilly panties, my harness, or whatever. And it also makes me feel kind of sexually charged. Let's not say I'm turned on, but I get a sexual energy from dressing like that. And then I'm hoping that everybody else vibes off of that sexuality, and they're somewhat attracted to me or having fun because of what I'm presenting.
It's like an association, like rope isn't inherently sexual, but you can get a little excited if you see it, if you like sexual bondage, for example.
Yeah.
I agree with all of that. Yeah, sure.
Crafty Keeler, I think, has got it.
Yeah.
I knew an asexual person in high school who was only attracted themselves, or didn't really care about finding a significant other, or, you know, didn't see humans as attractive, I guess. If that makes sense. They didn't have an inclination to try to find a partner, I guess, is the best way to put it.
See, I've heard people that want partners that are of that sexual orientation. I wouldn't know how to describe it and categorize it. I don't really want to say sexuality, but I'm going to use that word, and if it's wrong, please, I want to be corrected, because I don't want to hurt anybody's feelings. But I've heard that there are people that are asexual that do want partners. They just don't want to have a sexual relationship with them.
Yeah, they could still be romantically attracted to people.
Yeah, then it's more, I guess, about companionship, and, you know.
Yeah.
Just about, you know, the feeling of connection with somebody, just not expressed through that way. You know. Like, could be cuddles and flowers.
Yeah.
I mean, that's where I show my love and affection.
You know, if you this is what I found. If you ask a lot of old people how that are still together today, like couples, they'll kind of tell you that, you know, it's more about having the relationship rather than all the other stuff involved, just being connection between the two people. That's usually what I find makes a more lasting relationship, because that's what a lot of older partners and couples kind of say the same thing about that. So that's a big deal, I think.
See, for me, being connected to somebody is what's the important part. And yes, of course, I enjoy hanky and stuff, but what's more important is our usness together. As in Alice in Wonderland, it's described as muchness. And if you like somebody's muchness, which is like the essence of them, then, that's what makes things good.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's really, yeah, I agree with that, definitely. Oh, we've touched on a lot of things with just this one question.
So Dr. Says in the chat, isn't that also considered non-binary? And I believe that's different, right?
Yeah.
That's where you don't consider yourself either gender,
Yeah.
but you still have an attraction to other people, correct?
Yeah. Non-binary is, well, you can be non-binary and asexual, but non-binary is gender and asexual is sexuality.
Yeah, okay.
Okay. Interesting.
Well, see, no, yeah, I agree with Micro about the non-binary and being different than sexuality because it is a gender identity, not sexuality.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
You
that's
might be thinking of pansexual, maybe, or omni.
What? I didn't hear. What did you say?
Yeah, say that again.
Sorry, and I said maybe they might be thinking about see, I said non-binary, and then I was about to say it. The person may be thinking about maybe being pansexual or omnisexual rather than non-binary. That might be the better word for it.
I don't know, but that's also not asexual, but
Oh no, it's not asexual, but I meant with the description of liking someone for who they are.
I don't know. They made a mistake and we have corrected them. But
Oh, okay.
yeah, so I don't know what the answer is. Why did it?
Well, that wasn't easy. Let me tell you.
It's complicated.
You want to? We can check out the next question. Here it is. The words butch, tomboy, and girly girl, are they seen as offensive words? If so, why?
I feel like they are offensive words if you use them and the person doesn't feel comfortable with the terms.
Yeah.
Like my ex-girlfriend, she described herself as butch. That was what she felt like. She felt like she was a tomboy. So that's how she feels, and they're okay to use. And she says, look, these are things that I'm happy to be called. You can call me them. However, people do sometimes use these words offensively, like to offend. For example, saying, I don't feel comfortable with this, but one of my friends, before they came out as trans, used to get very upset whenever they got called a tomboy, when in reality they were their boy, not a tomboy, they were a boy, and they were a trans male. So I think being clear to who you're using them to and not to use them to the wrong people, and if only they're comfortable with that.
Yeah.
Well, I think, yeah.
Again, it's complicated, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's complicated, but there's a word in there, and the word is offensive, right? Now that's a
Mhm.
subjective term, which
Yes.
is kind of based on personal feelings and tastes and opinions. So, like what you just explained, Etta, that it would depend on the person and how it was being used. I mean, you could use any term and use it derogatorily. I don't know if that's a word,
I think it is,
but yeah, I think it depends on, like, if someone identifies as something like this, how it's only offensive if they think it is or you think it is. It's
Yeah.
right.
yeah, definitely.
When we're doing performances and we're describing the performance, we sometimes use these terms. And like everybody's been saying, as long as it's not used in a derogatory way. But I see most of the time in the scene, and again, we're talking about the scene, they're used in a positive light. Tomboy, I can see more as a negative thing, but if you were one, then it isn't really negative, but that's the one that could be used more derogatory. A girly show is what we used to call the strip shows in the carnival. So the girly girl thing is kind of something that you would say for entertainment sometimes. Yeah.
I think I would probably use, for example, for girly girl, I would probably say feminine instead.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And this is all just the conversation of language and what people could be doing to make other people feel more comfortable.
Yeah.
Because I know there's quite a few descriptors that I don't feel comfortable with when when they're used at me.
Yeah.
So I know the people don't mean any harm by it, but it doesn't make me. It still doesn't change that I don't feel comfortable when they're used.
Yeah. Like
Well,
I don't.
me personally, I don't use these terms to describe people. I just don't.
Yeah.
Mhm.
I don't know. I've never called anyone butch, tomboy, or girly girl. I've never done that. So
Yeah.
it's never occurred to me to even use these terms. But I know other people who have called themselves this and other people who have said, "Oh, they're butch." I understand what it means, but I would never claim that someone is butch unless they said they were butch. You know what I mean? I would never call someone a tomboy, say, "Oh, he's or she's a tomboy," without them first saying, "Yes, I identify as a tomboy." I would never do that. I don't know.
Yeah.
I used to get it all the time when I was younger because I liked to play with the boys and I liked to climb up the trees and do like rough play and sort of have that sort of interaction rather than like whenever we played houses and all that, I always wanted to be the dad and all these things. So people always called me a tomboy, and that did really upset me when I was younger. I didn't really understand why, but it did, because it was always used as like a nasty word, like a dirty word. Like other kids would say it, like, "Oh, she's just a tomboy," and then I was like lumped into the nasty categories, like she's gonna grow up to be a lesbian one day, and then so that's the kind of connotations for some people it may have.
Yeah.
Why it might be upsetting. So I think maybe it all does depend on context.
Yeah.
Well, I wasn't. I never used, like I said, I never used these terms. I didn't grow up in a group of people who used them either. So it's like it was outside of my own family that these words were used. We didn't use them in our family, and we didn't identify people as these things. You know, it's just it would never occur to us to say this person is A, B, or C without them first saying, "Hey, I am A, B, or C." It's just I don't know.
Yeah.
Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And Mark brings up a good point.
What Mark said.
What the
Why-
I never met?
Mark has many good points today.
Yeah. I mean, yeah, that's right.
Which point, Amiga?
Which one?
The last one.
Oh, unfortunately, you
That
could
one?
say just about anything, and it's going to offend someone. Is that
Yeah.
the one?
Yes.
Oh, well, yeah.
Is that
Right.
not also knowing your audience too? Like, meaning like who you're speaking to, you know which language you should be using to not
Sure.
do it?
Sure.
And I mean,
Yeah.
this is where communication comes in, where you sit and talk with your people that you're going to hold close, right? This is what I'm comfortable with. This is not what I'm comfortable with. And then you actually talk about it. And then that's how you build a relationship with anybody, let alone like, you know,
Yeah.
let alone just like a partner. You know, it's how you build the trustworthy friendship where you can say, actually, I don't like that. Can you maybe not
Yeah.
do that anymore? And then you discuss it and move on.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. That sounds pretty healthy to me. I mean, it beats avoiding the issue. I mean, and most people, instead of discussing it, avoid it and don't talk about it.
Well,
So-
don't get me wrong, I have been guilty about that totally, but I'm really trying to do better with my communication.
Yeah, it's always okay to, or not always okay, but it's with these things, it's pretty much always okay to ask. Is it
Right.
okay to if I call you this? What do you want me to call you? And yeah, stuff like that.
Yeah. Why guess? Why play a guessing game? Right.
Yeah.
Just ask. I mean, Micro was actually, I think it was only Micro, which was the first person who she asked me what my pronouns were. And nobody else has asked me that before. And now I do have inherently a very high pitched voice, and so people automatically assume female. And I don't always know if that is what I feel. So like that, you know, just her asking actually give me way to actually approach the subject and go, well, actually, I don't really know, but thank you so much for asking me. I have no clue.
I definitely asked. I may or may not have been the first one, but I definitely asked.
No, you were. You were the first person who asked me.
Yeah. Cool.
Yeah.
Well, we can go on to the next question if you think we've answered this to our satisfaction. I mean, I don't know. Let's see what the next one is. Here it is.
On to the next one. Dun, dun. No, I was trying to sing a song.
Would anyone care to read it for us?
Why are some of the words being used trying to redefine terms that have specific meanings for scientific use? For example, asexual.
Well, asexual reproduction is, of course, very different from asexual in a sexuality context. But like the word charge has several different meanings. For example, transition, for example, to transition in music is a different thing than like you can then transition from one music genre to another, or like in making movies, or or the trans thing. So yeah, we use different words in different contexts.
Well, I think the redefining is an important part of this question because
I mean, There's a couple of terms I can specifically think of that may need to redefine so it's more inclusive, and it's actually words I've been trying to use a bit better now, such as like rather than saying women who have periods, change that and say people, because it's not just people who identify as a woman that have periods, it's trans men who have periods and people who are non-binary.
Yeah.
They also have them. So that's why, because it's not right all the time now. Well, it never was, but like it's now like the times are sort of changing and the words aren't keeping up with. Like rather than saying a woman with a vagina, someone or a person with, or somebody with a penis. It just these words or
I think it's also the fact that over time, language, especially like English, keeps on adding new definitions, all right, to existing words.
Gay used to mean happy,
Yeah.
for example.
Yeah, but then you have to define, like, if you're gonna, it's like, how do you have a conversation with somebody if the definitions just keep changing, and if people just arbitrarily start changing definitions to fit whatever narrative they want to describe?
Right.
It's not arbitrary.
Well,
it's not like we have taken the word red and defined it as bisexual, for example.
Well, you could.
Yeah, some random.
That's what I'm saying. I could redefine the word red. Is that what you said? Red?
Yeah.
Yeah, meaning asexual. And use it in that context and say, yeah, I mean asexual. When I say red, I mean asexual. And you go, well, why don't you just say asexual? Well, because I want to redefine it. I want to redefine it as red.
Yeah, because we just took over that we can't justify that.
Yeah, but then
we can justify using asexual, but we can't justify using red.
Well, you could do it just the same, but you
couldn't. You would have a harder time justifying it.
Well, yeah, of course. But if you have the scientific term, there's no need to add this extra redefining thing.
Yes, there is, because asexual in a sexuality context is not the same as asexual reproduction.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, but we see what I'm trying to get at is we already have terms for these things.
No, I don't see what you mean. We don't have a different term for asexual.
No, I'm saying we have. That's the term. We don't use when. That's the term for someone who is asexual. They're asexual. They're not red, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's what I mean. We already have a term. If you want to make up another
I don't
term,
know what your point is.
they redefine asexual as meaning something it's not.
What? I don't even know what we're arguing anymore.
No, you explained it, Amiga. You explained it. You explained it already. That was what
right.
You just,
if you want a single word can have multiple meanings. It's just like if I instead of saying red, let's say I just said blue.
Well, I said charge before. I used that.
Wait, what?
Charge. As in, an army can charge an enemy, or you can have an electric charge.
Right.
Or you can charge for an item in a store.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
Right. So you have to know, first of all, if the person doesn't give you enough context to place the proper definition of that word into context, then you have to ask them, how are you using that word? So you don't get this you don't end up with, I think it's an equivocation fallacy where a person will change which specific meaning of a word they're using in a conversation.
I'm confusing him why this is relevant at all.
I think you're right.
Because it's about what, why people are redefining terms.
I do feel like there's. Oh gosh, let's not start that again.
Well,
What term is being redefined?
No, some of the words.
It's
I
like
don't know. I don't know.
In other words, the question is asking why are some words being used, trying to redefine terms that have specific meanings for scientific use. I mean, if you want to get into it, if I was to use the word quantum, all right, look at how many people that peddle in woo use the word quantum.
Yeah, but that's why a negative thing. They're doing it to peddle bad things.
Yes, but you can also use other words, use it in a way that you're redefining the word, all right, and use it, against anybody to make it derogatory.
Yeah, but see, the question is saying why we already have meanings for these words. Why are you now giving them other meanings? It's like we already know what they mean.
Yeah.
That's what I'm trying to say.
I think that most people probably don't know and didn't know, or maybe they did know that meaning, the scientific meaning.
You're probably correct about that.
Yeah.
But yeah.
Like why can't we use asexual? It's not like we talk about asexual reproduction that often.
I think we should use it. It's
That's true.
Yeah. I think we use it. Let's see. What's the next question? Let me see.
The only thing that I find annoying actually about asexual is that if you separate the A and sexual, it becomes the complete opposite. So you have to say it in a way that is so you know you're specific.
And being dyslexic, you have to be very careful about them things.
Well, I've come to one conclusion. Words are hard.
Words are hard.
Oh,
yeah, they're not.
Soft is a very soft word.
Here's the next question.
Oh, okay.
Cock is a very hard word.
Well, what?
I'll read it. Why do some take being misidentified so personally, considering the number of discrimination? Is that the word? Descriptions for gender identity and expression. Wow. Let me read it again. Why do so many people take being misidentified so personally, considering the number of descriptions of gender identity and expressions or expression? Wow.
You want to try again?
Read it again. Okay. Why do some take being misidentified so personally, considering the number of descriptions for gender identity and expression? Is that right? Did I get it right? Woohoo! All right, rub it in. Not that bad. Hey, it's a TMI show. What can we tell you?
I feel the reason why, oh God, people don't like being misidentified or misgendered and why it gets upsetting is because normally they aren't cis. Now, I'm not saying people that are cis don't get misgendered. Don't get me wrong. I'm just saying normally it's somebody who's had to try their best, work very hard, and fight for who they are in their heart. So then when somebody says, oh no, but you're this, and even if it's by an accident, like, it could be painful for someone, you know. I mean, a lot of people normally understand if you say, oh, sorry, I didn't mean that, and then correct yourself, because as I said last time we were having gender discussions, I am a bit of a, shall we describe it as a total fanny, and I accidentally call people the wrong thing all the time, and it's not in malice, and it's kind of like, I will say she when talking about Tusk, because my brain is distracted. So like, and Tusk is cis straight guy, you know, that if you looked at him you go, that's a dude, you know, and I sometimes identify him with she by mistake, like completely, like unnecessarily. I don't even understand why, you know. And it's just a brain fart. It's literally like my brain malfunctions, and the first pronoun that comes to my mind I say. And luckily everybody I know is very understanding and knows that I'm doing my best and my brain has to work 1,000 times an hour to get what I want to say out of my mouth, because I sometimes very much struggle with that. So anyway, rounding it back up to, people will get upset and hurt because they've had to fight for that, for whatever it is. And it sometimes for some people it's all day and every day.
Yeah,
They
and
get called, sorry.
Like for example, like, I don't think I have a very good-looking nose, for example, but it's not something that people keep pointing out all the time. No one else has ever said that I have an ugly nose or anything. That's just my opinion about my own nose. So that's not something that bothers me. But I do get misgendered like every day, basically. Like it's there all the time. So that becomes very hard. And these people would also take that very personally if that kept happening all the time.
Mm-hmm.
Well, there's two key words in this question, I believe, and it's the one is misidentified, being misidentified, and the other one is identity. So there's two words that sort of mean almost the same thing in the same sentence, right? So it's more about, if you live with this identity for your whole life and somebody wants to call you something you're not, you're going to defend it, just like a Christian who when you say something that doesn't go along with what they identify as, they're going to think you're attacking them, you know, when it's not an attack. Does that make sense? I don't know.
Sometimes it is an attack, but you don't know sometimes.
It is, but I used to be a ginger. I'm still a ginger, right? But when I was young, I hated people calling me ginger. I didn't want to be called ginger. I didn't identify as a ginger. And if someone called me a ginger, I do all I could to kick their ass. You know, I wanted to kick their ass. And that's what I did until up to a certain point where I realized, hey, why am I fighting what is apparent to everyone except for me? I mean, why? But that's because I didn't identify with it, and I wanted to fight back because I didn't want that to be part of my identity. So that's why I fought back when people called me a ginger. I fought it, you know.
Mm-hmm.
But that, I don't think that has much to do with LGBTQ and A. I mean, I don't know. But
it's relatable though. I mean, you can just switch out people kept calling me a girl, and I didn't feel like I was a girl. But then, I came out and I was a girl. So sometimes people get really defensive if they haven't came out yet, and somebody keeps calling them whatever it is. Like that's basically outing someone, and that's gonna hurt their feelings.
Yeah, so it's about it's our perceived identity that's that we're holding on to, that we want to protect. I mean, I don't know how to, if that's the correct way to describe it. I don't know.
I mean, but there is very many different angles of this. A lot of people can be, misidentified and misgendered and in all different ways, and it's whether or not they're out or not and how they communicate that. But if somebody already knows that somebody's out, specifically if they're gender neutral or trans, and somebody almost refuses in a nasty way and forcibly misgenders them all the time on purpose, that's a whole different thing. That's a whole different horrible person that you just don't want in their life, because they just don't respect you enough to at least try. And that's why I get really upset when I do accidentally say the wrong words. And even though I've asked somebody and say that I'm just doing the dishes, and I call task her, and I'm like, shit, I mean him. Like, what is my problem? And I was using him because I do it because he happens to be in my life very often. I mean, even in the next room. But
sometimes it's also like, sure, you made a mistake once, but that other person has heard this, has been misgendered several times that same day. So
yeah, it's gonna hurt, and it's not nice to do that. If you do it by accident, I'm sure people know and understand, because people normally understand when I do. Like, I'm like, oh, I'm really sorry, I didn't mean it like that, and they're like, oh no, it's okay, don't worry, and they tend to be really understanding. But because you apologize, as soon as you realize what you've done, you apologize. It's like when you be nasty to somebody, but like if you give somebody like a backhanded compliment or like try to compliment somebody and it comes out wrong, you apologize. It's literally just right back down to communication. You stop and you go, oh, I'm really sorry, I didn't mean that. How can we move on from this, and how can we fix this? But that's like on the base level, all you can do is just, ask somebody's pronouns in the first place to help with all of that. Just do your best to stick to them to the best of your ability. Nobody expects anybody to be perfect 24/7.
Yeah.
But at least to see someone try.
And like, I was doing a BDSM session with someone once, and they misgendered me, and I was being the dominant at that time. So I, instead of like being offended, I kind of put that into the play. I punished them for you, like in a playful way, of course, and like put it in there. You used the wrong gender, so I like thanked them a little more. And so like sometimes you can, at least I can get it to be a bit like, I can joke about it with the incorrect person. Like if I know 100% that yes, this was a mistake, then it's a little easier to take it lightly.
Yeah.
Well, how many times you got to keep telling somebody? If you've told someone and they just keep misidentifying you, then they're doing it on purpose. I mean, come on.
Yeah.
So, want to go on to the next question?
Yeah, sure.
Although there are some pretty interesting comments as well. going on.
Yeah.
I got distracted trying to read them.
Here's the next question. Why does being a different gender to your biological sex matter?
Oh.
What a loaded question. Oh.
All right. Okay.
That's a heavy question.
Preloaded. Yeah, we preloaded that question just for you. Holy cow.
I have a question for the question.
Oh?
Oh, okay.
Why should it matter?
Yeah, that's the big question. That's the question of the question of the question. Does that make sense?
Oh my goodness. See, I didn't write any of these questions. I got given them. so I'm like, some of them when I was reading them, I was like, ooh, okay.
Yeah, I
But
plead the fifth.
Yeah. No, hey, I wouldn't have wrote these questions.
I plead the fifth. Yeah,
But yeah,
somebody wrote these questions.
somebody who was anonymous has wrote these questions. And I mean, right. Me and Tuss do this thing where if I can't say something right, I'll say it wrong and we'll fix it. And sometimes I struggle saying it, so I'll
Sorry.
say what I thought I need to say and then explain. And now I feel all the pressure to answer the loaded question. And see, it
Yeah,
matters.
who got the loop?
Sorry?
I said, who forgot the loop? You
I don't know.
feeling the pressure.
Oh, right, yeah.
The pressure.
Never mind me, I'm tired.
Oh, no, it's okay.
Those are thinking. Those are thinking.
I have no
Making
idea
you
how to
think.
word what I want to say, so I'm kind of just trying to process. And you'd think I'd figure it out because I've had these questions for some time. I've been looking at it and going,
Complicated.
you know, when you just look at it and you go, and just next it, you know. You know, in the exam, you like skip it and leave that one for last. That's this one. That's for me.
Tanner had an example there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
For lack of a better example, Sam, you know you
thank
are a smell, right? I know. Hey, can I read this or what?
No.
Forget it.
This is the queer people's episode. It's our time. No, read it.
Okay, now, for lack of a better example, Sam, me, I know I'm a cis male, so now imagine being in a female body. How would I feel as a man in my body? I don't know how I would be very confused.
You would want them to match up, though, wouldn't you? You would want how you feel outside.
Yeah, I would want there to be some kind of synergy between how I felt and what my mind was telling me, right?
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Thank you so much, Tanner. Because I was trying to, I was like, how do I say that? But yeah, no, that's exactly it.
Yeah, because I want to be cohesive, and I want to look in the mirror and say, yeah, that's it, right?
You got it.
You don't want to look in the mirror and go, huh? What the heck?
Who the fuck
It's
are
like
you?
it's like looking in the mirror and saying, "Who the fuck is that?"
It's like, what happened?
No.
And your brain just goes, "That's not me."
I could
Yeah.
see how that would really be confusing. to people.
It's not quite like that. It's not that. It's not that. Who the fuck is that? Just no, this is wrong. Those are two slightly different things.
Okay, see, that's information. That's good information. That's good
Mhm.
information.
Thank you, Tanner.
Yeah, thank you, Diane.
Good one, Tam.
I mean, I don't identify as a male, obviously. Like, I'm saying obviously because I've just sort of explained that before. But when I had long hair, I was looking at myself. I mean, I grew my hair out to do drag because I wanted my character to have like a floppy emo cut, you know. So I wanted to be able to flip my hair and do all them things I want to do. So I was looking at myself and I was just hating it, and it made me feel too feminine presenting, even though it was for a totally different thing. But like I was looking at myself and I just did not feel comfortable, and it didn't match up to how I felt like I looked like in my heart, you know. And it's just so confusing.
Yeah, I'm sure it's frustrating. I mean, I've never gone through anything like that where I wasn't aware of what I thought I was. You know what I mean? Like I've never gone through anything where I don't know how to describe it. You know, I mean, I've always been a cis male, so I guess if I don't have a perspective outside of that, other than my own experience with people that aren't cis male, that's all I have to go on. And you know, it's hard I guess when you just lock yourself into a gender, does that kind of limit you? I don't know, because I don't think I'm limiting my thought process when it comes to gender because of my gender. You know, because I'm cis, I don't think it limits me, but I'm not sure.
No, it doesn't. It doesn't limit you, and you can change your identity too. Like if you feel more comfortable in a different one.
Right.
Yeah, and it's your identity, not your expression.
But is it fluid? Is gender fluid? Is it gender fluid? Is that the word?
That is a word.
That's not what
Can
I'm
be a
thinking.
term.
That's not what I'm thinking of. I'm thinking of something else. Because there are people who are gender fluid, but that's not what we're talking about, right? No.
Well, that does count as being a different gender than your biological sex.
Yeah.
Right. So.
Which is because I'm thinking I'm somewhere on the gender neutral spectrum, but I'm not entirely sure how I feel about any of it, hence why I've not chosen like what or however you would say we've gone, okay, right, these are my pronouns. You know, like I've not done that because I'm like, oh well, I don't actually know where I feel comfortable or where I am there. But no, it is different than my biological sex because it can mean I would be she, they, them, or just they, them, because not identifying with either male or female pronouns, or anywhere in between. Like, identify with all pronouns or none. And so that's where the massive spectrum of it all comes from, as well as with expression being able to help with the feeling of the inside on the outside. I hope that made a bit sense there.
Well, I think gender really is. I don't know. Is it an abstract of biology? I'm not sure. I don't know. But gender is that a subjective thing too, or because I know the biology isn't subjective. That's testable. But the gender is more or less subjective. And does that matter? No, it doesn't. I don't believe it doesn't. It doesn't matter.
It's
doesn't matter.
complicated.
I think we're simplifying it for.
Yeah.
So let's see what the next question is.
I love my friends.
This is the next. Oh, this is a long one.
Ah,
Ooh.
All right, Linda, you can read this one.
Okay. Thank you. Given the employment laws, isn't it important that employers can find out what your biologic sex is, and following successful employment, the topic of gender then be raised so that the requirements of other employees can be taken into consideration? I did not get that question.
yeah, this was a question I didn't particularly understand a lot, but I don't know what somebody's got in their pants has absolutely anything to do with what they can and can't do for work.
Yeah.
No.
I mean, there's probably certain kinds of job, like, in the porn industry, you would want to know what the person has there, so you know what kind of porn they can be in. But in most situations, that wouldn't matter.
Micro, why'd you go straight to porn?
Well,
Because that's the only industry I could think of where your genitals would matter.
Yeah. Yeah.
I guess it would matter, yeah,
Do that.
Yeah.
to a little extent.
but also the whole part of like gender then be raised so that the requirements of the other employees can be taken into consideration. That sort of part of it, I'm not completely following and didn't follow.
Yeah.
I believe that like shouldn't that conversation be open anyway to be had so that people feel comfortable in their own workplace about people using their correct pronouns and respected? Shouldn't that just be a thing?
Yeah.
Yeah, I guess if you have people under your employment that say they want to identify as A or B or C or D, I guess you would want to take that into consideration so people aren't disrespecting everyone in the workplace.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
That
And
makes
there
sense.
should be things there to look after them. So that doesn't happen.
Yeah.
But that doesn't have to do with whether or not you get employed.
No.
Oh,
No, it shouldn't.
I had no idea about companies having gender quotas, but of course, Crafty, never dead naming.
I don't think it should be a something that, what are you gonna identify as or whatever. We want to know this right away. I don't think should be part of the deal.
Well, some people also might not know then and there. If I got a job now, I would be like, they'd be like, what do you identify as? Like, I'd be like, like back in on me with that one, please.
Yeah, but it would be the same as if, okay, the male female thing where, we can't hire you because you're a female. We can't hire you because you're a man, or we're going to hire you because you're a man, and we're going to exclude this woman because she's a woman, and because we're looking for men. We're not telling anybody, but we're looking for men, and you know what I mean? That kind of thing. Like it's like a discriminatory kind of thing.
Because a woman can't do a man's job?
No. Yeah. Sure.
Then I guess it really wasn't just a man's job to begin with, now was it?
No, it wasn't.
Sky Tanner said a couple of great points as well. as obviously it will convince me. I can't say that.
Genitals shouldn't matter in any job. Nope.
Yeah, no. None whatsoever. Agree.
Agree.
All right, let's go on to the next question. Only
People
for
should
sake of
really be.
time. Okay, here's the next question. If my partner was to identify as the same gender as me tomorrow, does that mean I am now in the same sex relationship? And does it change any position on the gender spectrum?
It
Is
wouldn't change your specific gender spectrum because
Yeah.
they're not linked.
Right.
However, it depends. Like if you still want to be in a relationship with them tomorrow, and
Yeah.
if you identify as straight, let's say me and Tusk, I say, right, Tusk, I now feel I'm a guy. Like, I want to be a guy. I feel like I am. This is my life. What would that make him? And now, in a way, he maybe couldn't really identify as straight anymore completely. I mean, I bet he probably would because that's how he identifies, but in a way, maybe not. Because I wouldn't be a girl, so therefore we wouldn't be in a straight relationship like us,
Yeah.
right? But also, you technically would be in a same-sex relationship if I was on that journey.
Yeah,
But
but
that also presumes that he would still want to go out with me.
Let me add this situation. Say I'm a cis male. I meet a nice woman, and I think she's a cis female, and we get together, and she's a cis female, and then all of a sudden, she decides she wants to identify as a cis male.
She
Now, am I now in a same sex relationship with someone who now identifies as a cis male? Who to all apparent, is looks female. You know what I mean?
yeah, but you're still attracted to like the person that you assume to be a woman.
So that wouldn't change my position
No.
as a cis male.
no.
If I were to
No,
love
as a male, it wouldn't change your gender. No, it could reveal certain things about your sexuality that you didn't know about, but not your gender.
but would it change my position on the sex? No, it wouldn't change my position on gender spectrum.
Wouldn't
Yeah.
it matter whether or not you still wanted to go out with him then, now that he's came out? If
Well,
you couldn't date a guy, then because that's what he is now.
Yeah,
Like
but you
that's-
see, I don't see that. To me, I'm not confused over the whole thing. I get it, because if this person wanted to switch what they identified as or how they felt about what they were, I would have to agree. Yeah, go with it. Whatever you feel you have to do to be you, but I'm still gonna love this person regardless.
Well,
That's just how I would feel about it. It wouldn't change my role or this gender spectrum thing at all. It wouldn't. But I don't know. Maybe that's just me. Is that? Anyway.
I mean, I think the men, and I don't want to say their name, but I think this person meant, yeah, what Tanner was saying.
Yeah.
There's a lot of trans people who in relationships who, when they come out, that relationship ends because their partner isn't attracted to the gender that the trans person actually is.
I actually have
Yeah,
quite a
yeah.
horrific story of this situation, this exact situation. One of my now ex-friends who was in a straight relationship with a guy who now is out as a trans woman, but she married them so that they couldn't come out as trans, so that she could keep her in the way she was, if you know what I mean. And obviously, this person, as soon as I knew what was happening, I was like, look, I can't be anything to do with you anymore. You're a monster. You know, but I don't think that sort of attitude is very fair. But that's because she was struggling with this sort of question in her own head, you know, which is not a way you should behave.
Yeah.
Definitely, yeah.
But yeah, never.
I think that the way we think of sexuality as being attracted to men or women or both, like the other genders, and that we kind of not talking about it in the way that the body that our sexuality actually works. I think it would be closer to being correct to say that you're attracted to feminine bodies or masculine bodies. That it's like like if you're attracted to a trans woman before she transitions, but she knows she's a woman, you're not. But you don't know she's a woman, then you're not attracted to a woman, you're attracted to someone you assume is a man, you're attracted to that woman's body, but you're assuming that, so it's more about what the person looks like than the gender that they are. I think it's more that.
Yeah, I would agree with that, because it's because I think I explained it before. Because if I met someone who I perceived as cis, a cis female, because I'm a cis male, that's what I'm going to be pursuing. I'm just saying that's what I would.
A cis man would also be attracted to to trans women.
Yeah.
Right.
Women, so.
Yeah.
So yeah, I get that. All right, let's see what the next question is.
Sometimes you can't tell if someone is cis or trans.
Oh yeah.
Even after transition.
Okay, here's the next question. Anyone care to read this for us, or?
Does the current trend of vloggers, TikTokers, and other content creators jumping on the LGBTQ plus train help or hurt in the long term?
That's a very loaded way of expressing it. Like jumping on like it's not a trend. It's not like it's like if they come out as LGBTQ, they're like Philosophy Tube recently came out. She didn't come out because it was trendy. She came out because that's her identity. She's a trans woman. It's not about her jumping on a train. Just her living more true to her identity. So I do think it helps because it gives us more visibility.
Well, there is an upward trend. There is an upward trend of this kind of activity, but I don't think it's
people coming out.
Yeah, but I don't think it has anything to do with what's being insinuated by the question, that there's something that someone's like latching onto. It's just people expressing themselves. You know, they don't need to. There doesn't have to be anything to latch onto. It's just they want to express themselves, right?
I mean, I do have to say, the only thing that it can hurt in a way is the fact that it is very public, and the fact that it is very public, unfortunately, it means that in the news it's going to be like, gay person does this, lesbian did that, or whoever part of the community did this. It's not going to be, oh, some person happened to have behaved like this. You know, like, that doesn't make the news.
Mm-hmm.
If you know what I mean. So then it can hurt in them ways, because some people do tar one genre of person with the same brush, which is not ideal at all. But what it has done is create the super straight group, which is horrific and ridiculous on all levels, which was only created to hurt the trans community, because they claim being super straight, meaning they would never ever date somebody who was trans, despite them having all the operations and da. Like,
I
so
get
it's in that way.
I think what is, are you explaining kind of like what is this called? I had it in my head just a minute ago. I wish I could remember what it was. But it's like, yeah, it's like perpetuating a stereotype.
I mean, it can do that, sort of, yeah.
It's like they build these communities and they're like, oh, yeah, we're flamboyantly gay. And they just keep doing it. Most people who do that aren't gay, you know, half the time. You know what I mean? Like it's a stereotype of that all gay people are flamboyant and they're happy, and you know what I mean? Like it's the silly stereotype. So that, and the same thing goes in the opposite direction. Like people who want to be super cis, you know, that's bullshit too. I mean,
doesn't make any sense. Like, and literally, if you're not, no, this is, I'm gonna say this wrong, and if I need correcting, do correct me. But if you're not gonna date somebody who's trans, that's 100% fine. If you just don't want to do that, but don't create like a whole movement to purposely attack a community that's already been attacked for so long. You're literally the problem. You are the problem. If that is your attitude, you need to shut your face and just, trans people, you don't deserve them. If that's your attitude, like you're super straight because you wouldn't date somebody. That's on TikTok.
What the hell does that even mean? Super straight.
That's literally, they will only date cis people.
Super straight.
Yeah.
It just sounds so childish, and
I don't know. I don't know.
They created their own flag, which are the grinder colors, which is well cute. But talking about this, Tanner actually put a question in, which is a conversation, which we are talking about. Where is it? Where are we? There's so much writing, I'm having a little difficulty. Because I've lost my glasses, which I thought I was going to put on. Where was it? Oh, there's so many. Hold on, let me catch up.
Marty, I don't know who that person is. Marty Grass? Is that? I have no clue.
Mardi Gras.
Marty. Do you think Mardi Gras has helped the LGBTQ? I think Mardi Gras is great. I don't know if it helps.
I've never been, so I can't say anything because
I can't say.
It's more Carnival has helped out the community than Mardi Gras. Carnival has all of the fun stuff.
Why didn't I read that correctly? That's so funny.
I'm not finding Tanner's question. I'm really sorry, Tanner. I've lost it now.
That's because you live in a strange time zone, Sam.
Who, me? It's not a strange time zone. It's on the West Coast. It's a mountain.
That's a very fair point, Tanner, as well. Some allies can actually do more harm. It depends on how they conduct themselves. Some are truly allies to the community, but some play into stereotypes, which becomes disgusting, which is very. So that can be quite scary. And also, you know, with the vloggers and TikTokers and all of them people, there's also been like, this is the whole discussion about the bathroom situation when for the life of me, I can't remember their name. There was a person that said they were trans and they were a predator in the bathroom, and they were like all over the news. It was like trans women preys on children.
Jessica Unive. I think.
Yes.
Yeah, but that's not about gender. And someone does that is doing that. That's
no, but what it did do was stop a lot of progressive things from happening, such as gender-neutral bathrooms and the safety of trans women in toilets. That's what it did, like, because that happened and it came out just as all this conversation started to come up. So people were having this conversation, and then it was like this, and it's like, yeah, fair enough, but let's face it, I was attacked by a cis woman in the toilets when I was 8. Like, she tried to kidnap me. So, like, they're already in our bathrooms. Like, predators are already there. It does not matter what their gender is.
Right.
So, that became a massive scandal about this trans woman whose name what was her name again, Micro?
Jessica Unive, if I'm thinking of the correct person. Jessica Unive.
Yeah. Because of that lady, because of her, that really hurt the community a lot, because it then went, well, we don't want them there because they're like this, and this. You know, like this is what we hate.
Yeah, it's like they're making correlation between things that have no correlation. That's what's going on.
Right. And people are seizing on it politically, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, because it helps them get votes.
Yeah.
Because it confirms people's biases.
It's just so horrible, you know, and I mean, there's some beautiful people out there that are doing everything they can to just normalize these things, like, and these things meaning like, just like people just wanting to pee. Like, Jesus, imagine that being like a difficult subject to have, and like, you know, there are some beautiful vloggers and TikTokers and creators that are allies or part of the community that are discussing all these things, that are doing brilliantly and normalizing things for people. Example, there was a whole huge trend on TikTok called Ask Me My Pronouns, and they would just do like a little dance telling pronouns what people they felt comfortable with, which is a massive, simple little thing that everybody can do to help each other, you know. But yeah, so it really just depends on what content they're putting out.
I agree.
But that's for anyone. It's not specifically just for LGBTQ plus etc. people.
Yeah,
you know,
it's just people seizing on an opportunity to demonize, you know, something that they don't understand. To create fear.
Yeah, I think it's based on personal biases, and there's very little fact, if any, connected to what's being tossed out there. I'm just saying. I mean, I don't know. That's in my opinion. Let's see what the next question is going to bring us here.
Nips.
Here it is. Yeah, nips, right?
How much work is needed before trans people are no longer viewed as freaks, perverts, mentally ill, or worse?
About 50 mutants.
Wait a minute.
I don't
This
know.
whole hey, I don't like this question. You know why? Because it presupposes that that anybody who thinks this way is already deficient in some way, right?
What?
Sorry.
Yeah, this goes to the whole tribalism thing. All right, and that's like those people are not like me, and they are to be feared.
I mean, can we
Yeah.
just look back at the toilet issue we were discussing?
Exactly.
No.
So,
Yeah, but what? Yeah,
Not
but
like,
see, this is already implied that there's how much work. Okay, implication there that there is something we need to do for something because of the way people are viewed. But that's a presuppose that we view people that way.
well, not
There's a-
everybody does, of
people-
course.
Well,
a
that's what I'm
lot of
saying.
people do.
Well, a lot of people do.
Yeah.
But the question
Yeah.
is implying that this is a fact, but it's not.
It is a fact that a lot of people still see us that way.
Yes.
Very true.
Yeah.
Right, but is there work needed?
Yeah.
Yes.
So
There is-
people
there is-
behaving like that towards the trans community, of course.
So that means that
Have you
This is-
seen the super straight people?
We were just talking about this. We were like,
Yeah.
I mean,
And the
can we also
pageant thing.
look back and say the most person at risk is a black trans woman in the street?
Yeah.
That she's the most at risk person here.
Mm.
You know, she's
And,
and if you turn around and look at
Yeah.
the statistics in different countries about people who have been attacked, and
lots of trans women in the US are murdered, and most of them are black. So
Yeah.
yeah,
There are horrible stories.
yeah,
so that's because they're viewed like, well, not, shall we
yeah.
say,
Freaks, perverts,
hate
mental
trans-
and all that.
they're not seen as just people. Like they are, because they're just a person. They're just a person doing people things, doing what they can to walk through life without like any regrets, just trying to live their best life. I hate to be that stereotype that's just going to say that word there, but I am. You know, that's all they want to do. And but however, there's up until, was it a couple of years ago in the UK, you had to go to therapy for so long to make sure that you don't have a mental illness so that you can transition. This is where all this conversation comes in hand. And now there are mental health issues that can come along for trans people. Now, correct me if I'm wrong, gender dysphoria is a mental health issue that unfortunately a lot of trans people do have.
I think I heard someone say that it's not necessarily a mental disorder. That
Yeah, I
it's
wasn't sure how to word that, honey, so thank you.
yeah. I'm
But
not sure.
Yeah.
it can affect your mental health, correct?
Yeah, definitely.
I mean, that's the whole looking at yourself in the mirror and not seeing simplified version that we discussed earlier, where this comes into play, and rather than getting the help they need to transition, they just get turned with, well, you're not mentally well. You need to do all this so that you can do da, you know. And I don't think that's very fair. I feel like if you are who you are, and that's it. You know, I wasn't sure how to explain gender dysphoria, but thank you very much for helping me.
There's I forget the exact medical term for it, but it's basically when your the body map, okay, in your brain does not match your physical body.
Yeah.
So,
Right. So you could it has to do with the actual how your physical brain is wired in that area of your brain.
yeah.
All right.
I don't know what that's called.
There's a medical term for it, and I read some papers from a guy by the name of Ramasandran of just when he was just doing pure research, but he figured out that because he had patients who were coming with uh, bizarre symptoms, like people who felt like their arms or their hands were alien to them. All right. And as it turns out, when they did studies, very detailed studies, it found out that on their body map, that part of what should have been where their hand or an arm or a section of their leg was, right, was actually missing from their brain.
Right, but
And they
it's
had
not.
and they had
like,
to live with this feeling of that part of my body is alien to me. It's
Right.
not part of me.
Right.
They could still use it,
yeah.
but the only people came in saying, "Can you amputate my hand, or can you amputate, this specific portion of my arm, or chop off a foot?"
Yeah, it's not the same as a phantom limb. A phantom.
That's dysphoria, though, isn't it?
Yeah, it's a form of dysphoria.
Yeah.
All right, but it's not because the person is mentally ill.
No.
All right.
I just don't know how to explain it, and thank you for the help there.
We may not have explored this question fully, but I'm going to go on to the next question, if that's okay.
Mm-hmm.
All right, here's the next question.
Yay, and a positive end.
Should the government be involved more in the counseling and mental health aspects of the process of gender realignment surgery? And if so, what would that service look like? Wow, that's a tough question, man. And I think I read that correctly. Believe it or not. Holy moly. I really don't think the government should have their hand in anything like this. No,
it should be between the person and their doctors.
Yeah,
I mean, the government should provide the access to services like that.
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah, I think the government should provide funding, but I don't think they should have any say in the decision makings as far as what you decide to do with your life.
I mean, it's like how the government can give money to a hospital, but the hospital decides what they do with that money, sort of.
Exactly. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, they can't say, "Oh, we're going to give you the money, but you can't use it for A. You can only use it for B." They can't give you the money with stipulations attached to it, because that's that's discriminatory by nature. It's just
Convince me says in the comments the answer to this is the NHS in the UK. Because you can actually get gender realignment surgery on the NHS UK. So you can get it for free. However, you have to wait an awfully long time, and I know a couple of people that could not wait any longer. On the waiting list, because the waiting list is very, very long, and it has been put off due to COVID. So imagine being told you're allowed to get your gender realignment surgery and then being told it's not necessary and then have to wait 2 years plus for your next opportunity to get gender realignment surgery. So, and there's a very unfortunate timings for some people right now, but there's people at the very bottom of the list that's getting put off longer and longer, and who knows how long it will then take for them to feel comfortable with themselves. So there needs to be a process of change where there's more doctors doing it, more people are educated in it. Like, the process needs to go just a bit faster for some people, because there are people literally dying on that list because they cannot wait.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's unfortunate, but I mean, there's so many people, I guess, and not enough. There's not enough doctors to facilitate the need, I think. I don't know.
Oh, lucky.
Yeah, not only that, but here in the U.S., they're pushing bills to allow healthcare professionals to deny service, basically based on their religious,
I think
dogma.
no, I don't agree with that at all.
No.
I feel like they're a doctor. They signed up to help people. Does not matter who.
Exactly.
Only
Yeah,
people. However, this is a little off subject, but my nana was Jehovah's Witness and she refused surgery. I feel like you can be on that end of the spectrum, like, and refuse if you don't want it, right?
Right.
But you can't be like, oh, well, I'm a Jehovah's Witness doctor and I don't agree with giving blood transfusions, so, I'm not going to do it. You can't do that.
Well, that's what they're trying to do here in the United States.
Oh, God.
Well,
I am so sorry.
Well, do Jehovah's Witnesses think that education is like from the devil? Don't they?
In a way.
So
And
they
also,
wouldn't be surgeons. They wouldn't be surgeons. So thankfully, they are. I don't think there are too many Jehovah's Witness surgeons out there.
Yeah.
Just saying. I mean, I don't know.
Don't worry. She's no longer here. Poor Nana.
All right, let's go on to the next question, if you guys don't mind, because
Okay.
we have a lot of questions, and want to get through as many of them as we can. All right, here's the next one.
Should bars that are gay, trans friendly have gender neutral bathrooms, or should all public buildings have them by law?
First of all, here they are. The bathrooms are gender neutral and friendly in the LGBTQ plus safe spaces. A lot of bars I go into are a safe space. Therefore, because of this, they have the gender neutral bathrooms. Not all of them do, of course. And I kind of think that they should. I don't see the problem. You're all going in there to do your own business. Like, if you're close enough, as I said before, to look at somebody's genitals or like stare somebody in the eye too much or whatever, they should all just be friendly, safe spaces for people. Like, it's a bathroom. You're going in there to do one thing. Just go do it. Well,
Yeah.
but all private.
All bathrooms should be gender neutral.
Yeah, I think it should just be a bathroom.
Yeah.
I don't
So,
care. I need a toilet. People need a toilet. They need a sink. That's what they're going in for generally.
Yeah. Mike Caesar says I have gender neutral bathrooms in my house, and we have that there. Everyone has gender neutral bathrooms in our homes, so yeah.
You don't suddenly go, oh wait, sorry, you're a guy, you're not allowed to use toilet, like only for me.
In Denver, most of our gay clubs have neutral bathrooms. We never have a problem with it. A lot of the businesses and establishments downtown Denver also have either family or neutral bathrooms, and we never have problems. There's not news reports of anything happening from any negative thing. Every once in a blue moon, of course, something's gonna happen, but mainly it's you're at the urinal and somebody you think is a female stands up to the urinal and pulls their dick out and pisses too. So you can't really have you can't really have a gay club that's open to everybody and not have those kind of bathrooms, because then you're going to be trying to kick people out constantly and then getting their gender wrong and then looking like a fool, or so there's already them everywhere where I live, and there's no problem. So there should be gender neutral bathrooms, especially in nightclubs.
Are they LGBTQ plus bars too? Or
Every single bar that I work for. Okay, that's not true. Most of every bar that I work for is everybody. That it's very rare that there's only a specific lesbian bar or a specific gay bar. Nowadays,
it was just because what you said, so I thought I'd ask.
Yeah, technically now it's mainly everybody inclusive bars. We were working for a high class gay bar, and you mainly would have the boys going there to find other boys, but we had drag shows there and other shows. So we don't really have exclusive ones in Denver. Fort Collins is different. We do have technically a lesbian bar here in town. It isn't all inclusive, but you would consider it more of that type of bar.
Well, I never understood the whole thing. Oh, yeah, go into the separate bathrooms in an establishment where no one really gives a shit. It just doesn't make sense. It's like, who cares?
I mean, the only place, I don't. If you have cubicles and you can have I think if you have cubicles and you just go in a cubicle and one has a urinal sign on it and one does not have a urinal sign on it, you can just sort of pick and choose which one you go in. And now I'm a total germaphobe, and I've always sort of struggled with that. So, I'm out there in public toilets with my shiwi, so I'm standing up peeing anyway, in the girls' toilets, so to speak. So, I would not mind standing next to somebody with my little shiwi, if I got to. But, it's gonna confuse people a little bit, just maybe. But, it doesn't really matter, you're literally just going in to do a thing. They should literally be everywhere, and that's it.
One more point I want to bring up is, as a person who puts on events, you do not want a line in your bathroom. You want your patrons to go in and come out as quick as possible so they can keep drinking or having fun. So neutral gender bathrooms cause no lines. So I don't have angry patriots standing in one of the lines going, why is this line not moving and the other one is? So this causes an equality of you get to choose whatever bathroom you want, and if the stall opens and you take it,
Well, it's a matter of supply versus demand. I mean, if you got one toilet and 50 people needing to go to the bathroom, it doesn't matter if you have a neutral gender bathroom or not. There's going to be a line. But I get it.
If you have 2 or 1 bathroom available to a particular person.
But I get the point. It's a good point.
In Trax nightclub, there's 3 bathrooms that are available. If we open up the whole thing, if we open up both sides, there's 5 bathrooms, I think. So it's just whichever one's closer, you can just go straight into it and just use it. You don't have to worry.
Yeah, but you ever see the lines at the club where there's a female bathroom and a male bathroom? Guess whose line is out the door?
The female.
Yeah. See, I normally just go for the guys then. I'm like, well, I don't care and I need to pee. And And this is where, like, I have a really weak bladder anyway, so if I gotta go, I gotta go. I can't be sitting around waiting, like, and that's not me being pushy or nasty, like, and I don't have, like, any card to, like, be like, oh, well, I can nip into the disabled toilets, but I have now a theory that, like, the bathroom should be gender neutral, and there should be one toilet specifically for the people that are really don't want to be in the gender neutral toilet. Well, just one toilet, which is not going to be the disabled toilet, because they won't be allowed to use the disabled toilet unless they're disabled, because that's for them people. So if they really that bothered you to have a single little cubicle all by yourself, you're not allowed to have the fun of putting on your makeup in the mirror next to somebody chatting to you. You don't get that.
My favorite thing about gender neutral bathrooms, and I kind of poked at this fact, is seeing the hottest girl that I've ever seen in the bathroom, and she stands next to me in the urinal and pulls out a bigger dick than mine and pisses. Like, damn, all right, well, I didn't think that was gonna happen, But I can
weren't
understand.
supposed to tell them about that.
Well, sometimes, it's like I didn't mean to look over, but girl, you got it going on,
It is definitely too big.
Yeah.
Well, this whole gender neutral thing, there should be a gender neutral bathroom, I guess. If they want to have a separate male, female, then there should be something in the middle, don't you think?
Yeah, because where am I going to pee? Like, I'm confused. Where am I going to pee? I'm like, I don't wear dresses. I do have trousers on.
We'll put some newspaper in the corner for you.
A little litter box.
Yeah.
Let's see what this next question brings us. What is your definition of biological sex?
All right, that's it. Circled background.
Didn't we already go through this question?
Yeah.
Yes, we have.
Circled back.
Oh, perfect
Did we
timing.
go through the whole thing already? Yes, we did.
Yeah.
Yay!
Yay.
Wow.
This is the first question. So I didn't think we were that far into it, but we went through all the questions.
Well, we've been going at it for almost 2 hours.
Get out of town, really? Damn.
Time flies when you're having fun, my friend.
Well, there were lots and lots to talk about, and we only scratched the surface.
That's right.
So there's a lot more that needs to be talked about, and it's obvious from what just us couple of people here talked about. I mean, come on, this we have a.
But that's why we need to keep talking about this stuff, is because it needs to be brought out into the open and be, I was going to say popularized, but that's not the right word. Just talked about enough to where it's normalized. There you go, normalized. It's not as taboo to talk about or to be open about it in public. That's another reason why I like gender bending in public and on stage, is because I want people to think, and I want to be able to maybe later on have them come up and ask me a question about whatever they have a question about.
Yeah. We, like Eddie said, put it, we need to make queer boring. Like we may need to make it that subject that, like, yeah, it's there, but like it's not any more interesting to talk about than being left-handed or right-handed, or like.
Exactly. I'm with you on that, Micro. Like, it shouldn't be like a, wow, da-da-da. It should just be like oh yeah, today's Tuesday. Like, what day is it? Thursday. Sorry, there's just days now. But it should literally be what the conversation is. And it's like, this is me. This is my identity. Cool. Problem solved. Done. If everybody just relaxed a little bit and just accepted others for what they are, and rather than like trying to fight against times that are clearly changing and clinging on to something that's just not a thing anymore, like
unfortunately, organized religion causes people to be raised with guilt that they may be not cis, and so when you grow up with that, then you look at everybody as wrong, and that's the problem. Is we need organized religion to kind of go away so that people are raised with open minds, and then parents can teach their kids acceptance, and then you're raised accepting others.
Or along with that, teach understanding. I do know quite a few people of many different religions, including my Jehovah's Witness Nana, actually, that was 100% okay with whatever anybody else did with their life. You know, and I think it's the interpretations of these holy books that's sometimes the problem. Not necessarily, like, not saying I agree with all these religions, like, because I don't. But I just have friends that are Christian, Muslim. I have friends that are Jewish, that all are like, somebody's out in the family and da 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 da, and today's just Tuesday. So I think maybe it's accepting and just that it's not just. I think sometimes people hide behind religion to use it as an excuse, like, oh, well, it said it was bad in here. You know, like, rather than going, well, actually, that's wrong. But this says it's bad. You know, like, yeah, but what have you experienced? You know, like,
Yep.
I feel there's a bit of, like, what you're saying, Slim, but also there is another side to that also. Like, people have their own minds and responsibility. And if in school, people should be taught that they have their own minds and their own responsibilities as well. So I feel like you are right that education is really key in all these subjects. I mean, I was not taught LGBTQ plus sexual health in school.
Well, people, the schools don't teach how to think. You know, they teach you. They're like, this is what you think. It should be taught. This is how you think. Here's how to think, people. That's what they need to teach.
Right.
How to think.
And they also have to start really teaching that. Listen, you have to question things, question authority. All right.
Yeah.
Especially in heavily religious areas, they really have to teach kids that you just don't take things on just face value from, scripture. All right.
We should have sort of religion taken out of schools, and like, unless it's religious and moral education, where you learn about other people's religions and cultures and like all this sort of thing and sort of different subcultures and categories of all different sorts of stuff. Like we had that in school, but like on it, like, so you learn about other people, so you just don't grow up thinking your way is the only best way. Like, for your ways what works for you, and that's perfectly okay.
Yeah.
But you don't need that others.
We're going to start to wind it down, I think.
Yes.
Now.
Sorry.
Yes, we are.
I think Linda wasn't feeling so hot, so she's, I think, done for the evening. And I just wanted to, on behalf of Linda and us here at the TMI show and a bit of Tea and Danish, I want to thank the patrons, Morton Nielsen, Greg Hartwick, Robert X, Julie from Wine and Reason, Mark Caesar, myself, and Critical Crippled and Dog. Thanks, you guys. Appreciate all your support. And thanks everyone in the chat for stopping by. And I'm rolling the outro. And if you guys have anything you want to shill, any upcoming dates, are you doing anything or have a show that you want to promote, feel free to.
There is something in the works.
All right.
Just subscribe to my channel.
I don't have anything at the moment.
I haven't
have
shortened.
Ideas too.
Oh, I haven't shortened the outro. I was thinking of it, but
It's a nice song to dance to.
yeah, I like it. It was Linda chose the song, so how how bad could it be? Thanks everyone for showing up. Remember to subscribe, hit the bell, thumbs up, thumbs down, either way, it doesn't matter.
Yes. Feed the algorithm, people.
Yeah, that's right. We need interaction. And there's a comment section too, if anyone wishes to comment.
Yes.
Hence the name, comment section. Ooh, do you hear that explosion? Well, Linda, I hope you feel better. Get some rest.
Yes.
Get some rest.
Yes. Turn
It's
the
probably
pups
the
off
puppy
too.
keeping you up. The puppy's keeping you up.
Okay, I gotta
It's
take off, everybody. Thank you very much. It was fun. See
Slim.
you next time.
Always
Bye.
great to have you, man. Take care,
Yes.
Slim.
Bye.
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 We also have a merged Teespring where you can pick up some T-shirts. I think
And other
showed it
stuff.
we showed it on the last show, right? Yeah, we showed the Teespring. The link is in the description, isn't it? For Teespring?
Yes, it is.
Oh,
No,
great.
wait. Let me see. Let me check the description.
If not, it's on. We can throw it in the side chat. Do you
I
have
did.
it, Miga? Oh,
Yeah,
you
I
did. Oh. Yeah, check out the merch. Check out the merch. The shirts are pretty nice.
And
We have-
subscribe to our great guests.
That's right.
Aw.
Yeah, give them all a sub. That's what it's all
I
about,
might
man.
actually have something in the works soon.
That's right. Well,
Is everybody doing their Bollywood dance?
I actually really like the movies.
thanks for watching.
They're so dramatic. That's the only drama I like.
Wonder what it'd be like to cross South Korean movie with Bollywood.
I want to see that.
We're getting pretty close, I must say. Thanks, everyone. See you later.
Bye.
Bye.
Okay.
That was a lot of fun.
Yeah.
That's it, folks.